Cronbaugh. I live at 427 26th Street Southeast. I'm here tonight to comment on the school board's approach to its upcoming contract negotiation. I'm asking you to think individually and not as a block of group thinkers. Think critically regarding the upcoming contract. The current law is ideologically driven. Please don't support this short-sighted ideology. Support your faculty and staff instead. Getting rid of a binding contract and using a non-binding employee handbook of policies is completely counter to building and developing trust. Being bold as a board would mean not striking language on working hours, professional development, grievance procedures, hiring procedures, leaves of absence, employee evaluation, health and safety, and many other aspects of working conditions. It is my understanding that Superintendent Buck has said that we have had a contract for more than 40 years and there is little trust of management. He draws completely the wrong conclusion from his observations, I would assert. It hasn't been the educators who haven't trusted administration and the board. The way the district has operated over the last 20 years has shown a lack of trust by leadership in the professionalism of the district's educators. The lack of trust from teachers has been a reaction to that. While paying lip service and celebrating teachers, the district leadership has increasingly narrowed the freedom of educators to use their time, their resources, and minds in independent ways. I'm sure the board members and visiting with teacher friends and neighbors have heard these comments. I recognize Dr. Buck hasn't been in leadership during the last 20 years, but he and the board now should take action that builds deep and genuine trust. It is being suggested that the Cedar Rapids Schools should have a handbook of policies for permissive items. These items, should you trust your educators and their professionalism, and should you desire to really indicate to them that they deserve your trust, should be part of their contract. It's unlikely that trust will grow from imposing your will to place all permissive items in a handbook of policies that is not binding. And the superintendent's stated desire to involve others than union members, the legally representative body for all district teachers, in the creation of said handbook is a strategy used across the nation for union destruction. It's union busting, pure and simple. That doesn't build trust, and we do not need that approach here in Cedar Rapids. So how might the Cedar Rapids Community School District Board and Administration proceed without further fraying relations with educators? How do you learn from the errors that the Iowa City Community School District Board had to apologize after their missteps out of the gate on their contract negotiations? Collaborate thoughtfully with the teachers and workers through their unions. A handbook is not the same as having permissive items detailed and preserved in a contract. If you want trust, lead with trust. Be willing to be held legally responsible for your agreements. Include all possible permissive items in this contract. Allow your word to be enforceable by law. Stand by the commitments you make to those permissive items by saying how you will allow them to be enforceable by law. That is what Republican Governor Ray did by signing the collective bargaining law in 1974. He steadfastly recognized that professional educators should not be subjected to the shifting winds of politics, local or national, and said the state would have the integrity to sign legally binding contracts for the betterment of Iowa education. If you should choose the politically trendy path of these times and do not act independently of the fads in education and politics, you will be moving this profession and this district, which all claim to love and support, backward. Janet Godwin, president of the Iowa City School Board, in her apology to district employees said, "We know from experience that the best way to develop the best possible supports for our district workers is through strong relationships and collaboration with the unions that represent district workers. We intend to continue to build and maintain those relationships and demonstrate through action our commitment to our workers." Public schools with strong and effective unions correlate with strong student outcomes. If the board chooses the high road of including permissive items in a solid contract, it sends a clear message to the professional community that it is committed to supporting its educators, that it believes in treating educators as professionals, guaranteeing their stability in all aspects of their jobs and thoughtfully compensating them for their work.
Excuse me, Mr. Cronbaugh, your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.